You thought the wound would end you. You believed that if it cut any deeper, you would lose yourself forever. But what you didn't see, what no one told you, was that this wound, this very place of agony, would become the place where heaven touched earth in your soul. My beloved, you were not abandoned in that moment. You were not forgotten in the silence. I was closer than your own breath, nearer than the echo of your heartbeat, and I felt it with you. The breaking, the confusion, the shame that wrapped itself around your mind like a storm. I was there, not looking away, but stepping closer, because it was never the wound that disqualified you. It was the wound that qualified you for the kind of healing that only heaven could give. It was the place where I would pour myself in, not to patch you up, but to transform you. You see, pain doesn't scare me. Wounds don't drive me away. Your trembling, your questions, your doubt in the middle of it all, they don't offend me. They invite me. I came for the broken. I came for the bleeding. I came for the silent scream that no one else noticed. There's a holiness in your wound, because it made room for me. You would not have known me the way you do now if you had never been broken open. You would not have needed me so desperately if everything had remained easy. And so I let the wound open you, not to destroy you, but to deliver you from the illusions that once kept you numb. I let it break through the walls you built so I could show you a love that isn't afraid of your mess. You thought you had to hold it all together for me, but child, I never asked you to be strong without me. I asked you to fall into me, to collapse, into the arms that will never let go. Let me say it clearly, you are not too much, you are not too broken, you are not too late, you are mine. And what the enemy meant to use against you, I am turning into an opening, a door, a holy rupture in your soul where my spirit can now move freely. You cried out for healing, but I am giving you something deeper, a knowing that you are not alone, a knowing that I see every corner of you and do not flinch, a knowing that my love is not fragile and it does not flee when your soul is bleeding. The wound, as deep as it is, has become the very place I chose to meet you. Not after you healed, not after you stopped crying. Right there in the bleeding, that is, where heaven opened, you are standing on sacred ground, even if it still hurts, especially because it still hurts. Pain has become the veil that I tore open to reveal the glory of my nearness, so stop hiding, stop shrinking. Stop thinking your ache makes you unworthy. Let the tears fall if they must. I am not embarrassed by your humanity, I created it, and I came to redeem every part of it. You've asked me, why didn't you stop it? And I heard the ache behind the question. I did not ignore your cry. I wept with you, and I held you when no one else knew. But child, I allowed the breaking so that nothing shallow would ever satisfy you again. I allowed the tearing so that my spirit could fill the places where lies once lived. And now you are beginning to hear me in ways you never could before. Not because I was silent then, but because now your ears have been tuned by sorrow, and your heart softened by fire. You are not less than you were before the wound. You are more aware, more open, more willing to be held. And this is only the beginning. The wound is not the end of your story. It is the place where the real story begins. Let me stay with you in it. Don't rush the process. Don't numb it with distractions. Stay with me here, and I will show you the hidden glory within your pain. Because heaven does not only wait for the healed, heaven rushes into the broken, the hungry, the weary, the ones who bleed quietly and hope for mercy. And you, my child, are one I am rewriting with my own hands. Healing, my beloved, is not always sudden. Sometimes it is slow, like dew forming on the morning grass, like light creeping gently over the mountains after a long night. It does not rush, it does not shout, but it is real. And it is happening. In you, you may not see it yet, you may still feel the sting, but that too is part of the healing. The ache that lingers is not proof of failure. It is proof that your heart is still alive, still tender, still open to the breath of heaven. You ask me why it takes so long, and I tell you, because I am not simply mending you, I am making you new. I am not sewing together a version of who you once were. I am forming someone who carries eternal weight, someone who walks in light others cannot see. If I moved too quickly, you would miss me in the middle. And child, the middle is where intimacy is born, not in the arrival, but in the becoming. Speak to me now with a depth you never had before. You search for me not just in joy, but in stillness, in shadows, in the cracks. And you find me there. Because I am not only the God of celebration, I am the God of communion in the fire. I speak softly here, in this place of slow rebuilding, because I want you to recognize my voice in both thunder and whisper. I want you to walk with me, not just when things are restored, but while they are still raw. There is a sweetness here, a holy fragrance rising from the ashes. You carry it now, the scent of one who has wept on sacred ground. It lingers on you like oil broken in secret. What your wound has become, not a symbol of shame, but of presence. My presence, you may not realize this yet, but others are already sensing it. They feel peace when you walk into the room. They don't know why they cry when you hold their hand, but I do. It is the anointing born from your surrender. The wound made space for me to pour in, and now what spills out of you is me. You've become a vessel of mercy because you dared to let yourself be shattered in my hands. And now, I will use you not as a loud voice, but as a quiet river, not with flashy strength, but with compassion that cannot be explained. You will find the bleeding because you remember what it was like to bleed alone. You will see the hiding because you know the language of silent suffering. You will not fix them, I never asked you to, but you will walk with them. And that is where healing begins. The wound that nearly broke you has become a doorway for others to encounter me. It has become a resting place for the weary, not because you preach, but because you carry what you've tasted, my comfort, my nearness, my presence in the pain. You're learning now that the slow path is the sacred one, that restoration isn't a race, but a relationship, that sometimes the holiest work I do is in the quiet hours when no one sees your progress but me. I saw you get up when you wanted to stay in bed. I saw you smile at someone else's joy even when your own heart ached. I saw you worship with tears in your eyes and no words left to sing. That moved heaven, that shook the darkness, that built altars in unseen places. This is how I heal, not only by removing pain, but by redefining it. I take what once made you weep, and I fill it with meaning, with power, with love that cannot be shaken. You are no longer just surviving. You are becoming the hands that hold, the eyes that notice, the voice that speaks peace. You are becoming the answer to the prayer you once whispered through your own tears. And I am so proud of you. You are not the same, and that is good, because now, you carry what the world cannot manufacture. You carry what only heaven gives, a spirit that knows the path through the valley and leads others with gentleness, not pride. Let me continue, child. Let me take you deeper. There is more to pour, more to restore, more to release through you. And as I do, you will realize something. Stunning your wound never disqualified you. It was the very place where the door opened for heaven to touch earth through your soul. Now that the bleeding has slowed, now that the ache no longer controls your breath, something holy is rising within you that is not loud, it is not proud, it is not desperate to be seen, it simply is, a stillness, a clarity, a knowing that has been carved by fire and healed by my own hands. You are becoming someone who walks with quiet power, not because the pain vanished, but because you learned how to carry peace in the presence of it. You are not who you were before the breaking, you are not who you were even at the height of sorrow. You are now one who walks with me, one who knows my voice in silence, one who recognizes my presence in the hidden moments. You've become a witness, not by standing on stages, but by simply existing in the overflow of redemption. And now, you carry light. Not the light that blinds, but the kind that warms. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that says, you are safe here. You are not alone. You are seen. There are people I will send to you who will not know how to put their ache into words, but you will understand their silence, because you remember the weight of pain unspoken. You remember what it's like to feel invisible even in a room full of people, and you won't panic when they fall apart. You won't flinch when their wounds surface. You won't run when their questions spill over, because you've been there, are a witness of healing now, not the kind that comes with applause, but the kind that looks someone in the eye and says, I know, I understand. And you're not alone anymore. That's what your scars have become. Evidence, proof that grace does not run from the broken. Proof that redemption is not just an idea, but a reality that breathes. A truth that lives inside of you now. You no longer have to prove your worth, you carry it. You no longer have to explain your journey, you reflect it. You no longer have to convince anyone that healing is real. You are the testimony. You've become a shelter, a refuge in the storm for others, not because you fixed yourself, but because you allowed me to dwell in your weakness. And now, wherever you go, my spirit goes with you. You are not speaking as one who observed from a distance. You are speaking as one who was carried through fire and lived to shine. And that kind of light, the kind born in hidden suffering, cannot be extinguished. When you enter the room, atmospheres shift, not because of charisma, but because of what you've overcome with me. Your wounds have become windows, and through them, others will catch a glimpse of heaven. They won't see perfection, they'll see presence. They'll feel peace without understanding why. They'll encounter me, because you let me remain in the places where pain once reigned. You are no longer just a survivor. You are a living sanctuary, a walking cathedral where my presence lingers, a place where weary souls will find rest, even if you say no words at all. That the authority you carry now is not learned, it was given. It came through surrender, through midnight tears, through saying yes when all you had was fragments. You now carry hope that cannot be shaken because you know what it cost, because you've seen what happens when grace finds a soul at its lowest and chooses to stay. That's what you are. Now, proof that I stay. Proof that I heal what others throw away. Proof that I rebuild what was never supposed to be whole again. So don't be surprised when people are drawn to you. Don't be alarmed when strangers share their secrets, or when the hurting come near. They are responding to my fragrance in you. They are sensing something eternal, even if they can't explain it. You no longer shine despite your scars. You shine through them. They have become stained glass windows, and my light shines in every color of your pain. So walk boldly now, not for yourself, but for the ones still crawling, the ones still questioning, the ones who don't know that healing is even possible. You are my message to them, not because you are flawless, but because you've been faithful, because you stayed when it hurt, because you reached for me when your hands were shaking, because you let me make a home in your most fragile places. And now, those places carry glory, not because they are strong, but because I dwell there. Do you see it now, child? Do you feel what I've been building in silence? That place where you once bled without hope, it has become a throne room, not in grandeur, but in intimacy, in divine presence that chooses to dwell inside the unlikely, the fragile, the once forgotten. The wound didn't just allow heaven to touch you, it became the entry point of my spirit, the place where eternal light chose to remain. I no longer just visit you, I abide, I live inside you. You have become my sanctuary, a sacred vessel walking through a broken world, carrying the fragrance of redemption wherever your feet move. You don't just carry healing, you carry heaven itself, because I do not stay in temples made by hands, but in surrendered hearts, that opened in pain and chose to let me enter. And that is who you are now. Not just someone who once broke and was put back together, but someone who was reborn in fire, sealed in love, and crowned with quiet glory. You are not what happened to you. You are not the wound. You are the dwelling place of heaven. You are what it looks like when mercy refuses to leave. You are what it sounds like when grace breathes again in dust and bone. I walk with you now, not ahead of you, not far above you, in you, through you. As you love, I move. As you speak, I heal. As you walk, I guide. You once cried, God, if you're real, where are you? And now you carry the answer. I'm right here, in every tear you once thought was wasted. In every silence you endured with trembling faith. In every broken place that became holy ground. The wound wasn't your disqualification, it was your invitation. And you accepted it, not with perfection, but with your honesty, your tears, your hunger for something more than this world could give. And now, child of mine, you carry what cannot be stolen, what cannot be shaken, what cannot be bought or earned. You carry my presence, my voice, my authority, my peace. Not because you earned it, but because you said yes in the dark, because you let me in when all you had was silence and scars, and I stayed. I stayed. So walk now with that revelation. You are not waiting for heaven to arrive. Heaven arrived in you. You are the tabernacle. You are the lamp on the hill. You are the evidence that I still come close, that I still choose the broken, that I still raise the weary into glory. You will notice now your very life is an altar, and every step you take, light follows, healing follows, freedom follows, because I'm not sending you alone. I'm going with you. And where you go, heaven walks. The wound opened heaven, yes, but it did more than that. It made room for heaven to take residence, to stay, to breathe, to shine. So don't be afraid of where I lead you now. Don't worry if others don't understand. Don't shrink back when your heart starts burning again. You were made for this. You carry glory now, quiet glory. The kind that softens hardened hearts, the kind that breaks chains just by standing still, the kind that speaks peace without needing to shout. And when you kneel, heaven kneels with you. When you cry, angels surround you. When you love the forgotten, you echo eternity, because heaven walks in you now. You are no longer waiting for the kingdom, you are part of it. That wound, yes, that wound, it was never the end. It was a door, and through it, you entered my heart, and I entered yours. Now rise. You've been made whole, not without scars, but because of them. And through them, you shine with a light this world cannot comprehend. The wound that opened heaven became the wound through which I now move in you, and the world will never be the same. ***.